and signing? Is it last time I checked in on Windows Mobile, it was just CAB signing for the App Store. Is that still going to be the case?
I'm not actually sure what the App Store is going to do, but every app will be signed by that store. So you upload a clean one, they do their magic to it, and it comes back signed. I'm not sure what the actual signature verification is there.
Okay, cool. Yep. That's it. Thank you.
More questions? You guys are relentless.
Oh, I guess this is the only line now? Like what? Anyway, so no cut and paste in this release or in what you're going to end up releasing in version 1.0?
So I can say in Silverlight we will do whatever the phone operating system does. Right now it's not in the phone operating system, so I'm not sure when they will add that.
Okay. Now, in the keynote yesterday, or maybe it wasn't the keynote yesterday, maybe it was the session after that. But anyway, in order to gain access or integrate with the hubs for the social side, you had to be registered with Windows Live.
Yep.
You know, so like Facebook or Flickr or whatever, as long as it was something available through Windows Live, then it would work. So does that mean that there's a standard social media API? That there's guaranteed functionality on the social media side, and then some way to enumerate additional functionality?
So that's kind of a complicated question. So first thing first, yes, you need a live account to log into the phone. The out-of-box experience basically has, you either punch in a live account or you create a new one. If you've probably been to Hotmail, you know that that default screen aggregates a bunch of different social networking. That is the kind of same thing that's aggregated on the phone. As far as APIs go, you have a contact picker, which will let you basically choose a contact, and that contact can come from any of those sources.
But there's no standard API like I need to send a message out to all registered social media services that I'm subscribed to.
No, it's basically you pick there's no way to enumerate the API initially, at least, to enumerate all of your contacts. It's basically grab one contact based on a user gesture, and then you have that contact's all their information, right? You have their Facebook information, you have all their contact points you have, essentially.
Okay. And then, so you said that the OS merges the SD card storage together. How does that work? I mean, if you remove the SD card, do you just kind of lose the data that's on it?
From what I've seen, it's not. The phone is not super happy right now. If you take out the SD card, so.
Okay. So it's not like the soup on the old Newtons. Never mind.
That's old school.
Hi, I'm Nilay from Engadget, so you should probably know that I'm probably going to print whatever you say. Our guys are freaking out right now because you said software updates are going to be more like the Zune. Does that mean they're going to be carrier independent? Does that mean you plug in your device to
I should bring Charlie up here to answer this one. Is Charlie in the audience? I know he was up here beforehand. I'm definitely not an expert on the model. Okay. Charlie's talk yesterday was definitely the talk to answer that question.
Okay.
I can vector you to someone to answer to more appropriately answer a press question.
All right. I was just curious. Vector away.
All right.
All right. So you can capture photos. Can you capture video and/or put that video into your application?
So there is no video capture today, but it is something that can be added via software because the phone has video capture capabilities. Yes.
Can you extend the UI of the built-in applications, like send via Bluetooth to your contacts app, for example?
So there's only a couple of hub integration points in what we have right now. It's definitely something where, as you start to see the hub vision, that's where we want to add a bunch more APIs for it. So something like that is definitely the direction we want to go with the platform, but today there's not too many hub integration points, just a handful.
Speaking of Bluetooth, are there APIs in it for
There's not a Bluetooth API today. It's very painful.
Thank you.
So sorry to keep pounding you on the H.264 and 263. Mm-hmm. Does the phone have capability for encoding for 264 263?
I don't know. I'm not sure what the encoding capabilities are of the camera built in as far as hardware.
Okay, so
I can get that question answered, though, if you come up afterwards.
Okay. And then, most of that encoding stuff you want to have as fast as you can, but there's very little native support, for native code. Is that going to be a little bit loosened up for stuff like device specific, like encoders?
Well, so OEMs and MOs, OEMs and mobile operators have a special tool set where they can do some extra stuff. But as a standard third-party developer, you won't have that capability to create a basically custom codec.
Is there any APIs to get phone contacts or SMS, something like that?
So there's the contact chooser where you ask the user to pick a contact and you can get the contact information back. And there's an SMS launcher which you can populate with any information, and basically that just opens up the SMS app with either text or contact information depending on what you passed in.
Okay, well, thank you.
Sorry, Jared. What was the question? I didn't quite fully understand that. You can't pull the full list of contacts, right? There's no API to enumerate all the contacts. So you basically, it's a one-time, one-shot option to get a contact.
Yes. Is it possible for third-party hubs and apps to integrate with each other, or can they only integrate with the default phone?
So there's no support for that today. That's kind of going back to can you add your own launchers and choosers to a list? It's definitely something we're interested in. As others have mentioned, other competitive operating systems have that, and it's definitely interesting.
Hi. Is there ways for my application to register for events from other applications that are built on the phone, so that push notification with local push?
So the only way you would have that is if they were interacting in the cloud through push notifications.
Okay.
Right? If the apps knew about each other and they interact in the cloud, you could send that down. But there's no local way for them to talk to each other.
Okay. And then what about being able to send SMS messages via an API?
So that's the SMS launcher is basically what you have there. So you can
But it has to open the UI. You can't do it through code.
Yeah, you can feed the SMS UI like a full message and a contact person, but you can't send it without the user clicking send.
Okay, thank you.
Hi. You mentioned using a live account to tie into your phone. Is it a one-time thing, or can you switch in between? I know I have multiple live accounts for different...
That's a good question. I'm not sure. I would hope that you could add multiple accounts, because I also have multiple live accounts.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's a great question.
Are you including any database integration?
So there is no database API initially, and that's very painful. I know. I shake my head too.
Not even Express, nothing?
No, there's no database API initially.
Okay.
You were showing the shared code earlier between a Silverlight web app and the phone, so I'm trying to do that and port my app, and whenever I add a reference to another Silverlight app, it says something to the effect that adding a reference to another Silverlight app may not work properly. Yep. Can you explain that a little bit?
It's a warning because there's a set of APIs which aren't there, like the DOM bridge stuff. Okay. So basically, there's if you go to Silverlight.net, there's a Windows Phone specific forum there. There's a list of all the APIs that aren't present. Okay. So if you don't use those, you'll be fine. But that warning is basically, it's like you're kind of going into untreaded territory because you could easily write code that is not going to be there on the device.
Okay. And would those still surface at compile time or at runtime? Compile time, right?
It's going to be at runtime where it'll fail.
All right. Cool. Thanks.
Is there a Blender support?
There is a Blend preview available.
Okay. Thanks.
Hello. Isolated storage, are we going to be limited like on Silverlight for the browser or for either browser? Or
So isolated storage is where your app puts all its information. You have the isolated storage APIs for interacting with it. There's no size limits aside from the physical amount on the device.
Cool.
So it's party time. Just be gentle. All right. Thanks, folks. I think we're